Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I've got some breaking news that's going to put a smile on a lot of faces today. If you're receiving Social Security benefits, SSI, ssdI, or VA disability payments, you need to hear this. There's been a surprise increase in November checks that many people haven't heard about yet. And honestly, after reading through all the government reports and technical jargon, I realize most folks are going to miss this completely. So, I read the report so you don't have to, and I'm breaking it all down for you today in plain English. Now, I know when you hear government benefits and changes, your first thought might be, oh no, what are they cutting now? But today, I've actually got some genuinely good news to share. Stick with me because we're going to cover exactly who's affected, what's changing, and most importantly, what you need to do about it. Before we dive into the specifics, let me tell you what I'm hoping to accomplish with this video. My goal is simple: to make sure you understand exactly what's happening with your benefits so you can plan accordingly. Too often, the government makes these announcements buried in 50-page reports that nobody has time to read. Meanwhile, real people, moms trying to stretch their grocery budget, veterans dealing with service-connected disabilities, seniors on fixed incomes, and disabled individuals just trying to get by. These are the folks who need this information the most, but they're often the last to hear about it. So, today we're cutting through the bureaucratic nonsense and getting straight to what matters: your money and your family's financial security. You know, speaking of financial security, I want to take just a moment to share something personal. Last month, I was helping my neighbor, Sarah. She's a single mom of 2 who receives SSDI due to a chronic illness. She was telling me how she'd been struggling to keep up with her kids' back-to-school expenses, and her benefits just weren't stretching far enough. That conversation reminded me why I do this work. It's not about the numbers on a government spreadsheet. It's about real people with real needs. Sarah shouldn't have to choose between buying her daughter new shoes and putting gas in the car to get to her son's doctor's appointment. And that's exactly why today's news matters so much. Because when benefits increase, even by a small amount, it can mean the difference between making it through the month and falling behind. So, let's talk about who this surprise increase affects. This isn't one of those select few situations. We're talking about millions of Americans here. First up, Social Security disability recipients. If you're receiving SSDI, you're included. This covers roughly 9 million disabled workers and their families who depend on these benefits as their primary or sole source of income. SSI recipients, you're affected too. That's about 7.44 million Americans, including disabled adults, blind individuals, and seniors 65 and older, with limited income and resources. If you're in this group, you know how critical every dollar is. Veterans receiving VA disability compensation, you're seeing changes too. We're talking about over 5 million veterans and their families who earn these benefits through their service and sacrifice. But here's what's really important to understand. This isn't just about individual recipients. When we talk about 9 million SSDI recipients, many of these are parents, spouses, and breadwinners. So while the official count might be one person receiving benefits, the actual number of people affected, including children and spouses who depend on these payments, is much, much higher. Let me put faces to these numbers. We're talking about veterans like Mike, who lost his leg in Afghanistan and depends on VA disability to support his family. Moms like Jennifer, who can't work full-time due to multiple sclerosis, but is raising 3 kids. Seniors like Robert, whose Social Security is literally his only income after his factory pension was cut. Young adults with disabilities who are trying to live independently for the first time. These aren't statistics. These are our neighbors, our family members. Now let's get into the specifics of what's actually changing. The Social Security Administration announced a cost of living adjustment, or COLA. That's higher than what many people expected. Here are the hard numbers. Social Security and SSI recipients are seeing a 3.2% increase starting in October. Now, I know 3.2% might not sound like a lot, but let me break down what this means in real dollars. For the average Social Security recipient receiving about $1,800 per month, this translates to an additional $58 per month. That's nearly $700 extra per year for SSI recipients who typically receive less. The increase averages around $25 per month, which adds up to $300 annually. For VA disability recipients, the numbers are slightly different, but equally significant. Veterans with a 100% disability rating could see an increase of $78 per month, while those with lower ratings will see proportional increases. Now, I want to be completely transparent with you about how this COLA is calculated. The government bases these adjustments on something called the Consumer Price Index, which measures how much it costs to buy everyday things like food, housing, and healthcare. When prices go up, benefits are supposed to go up too. That's the theory. Anyway, the surprise here is that the initial projections were lower. Economists were predicting around a 2.8% increase. So this 3.2% represents genuine additional money that wasn't expected. Here's where I want to share some genuinely encouraging news because frankly, we don't get enough of it when we talk about government benefits. First, this increase is automatic. You don't need to apply for it. You don't need to prove you deserve it. And you don't need to worry about paperwork. If you're already receiving benefits, this adjustment happens automatically. Second, this increase is permanent. This isn't a one-time bonus that disappears next month. This 3.2% increase becomes your new baseline. If your spouse or children receive benefits based on your record, their payments go up as well. So, for a family where both parents receive benefits or where children receive survivor benefits, the total household increase can be substantial. I also want to mention something that often gets overlooked. This increase applies to back pay as well. If you've been waiting for a disability determination or appeal, and your benefits are approved retroactively, the COLA increase applies to those past payments too. Now, I always try to keep it real with you, so let me address the elephant in the room. While this increase is genuinely good news, we also need to talk about the reality of living on these benefits. Even with this 3.2% increase, many recipients are still facing significant challenges. The cost of housing has increased by much more than 3.2% in most areas. Groceries are up dramatically. Healthcare costs continue to rise faster than benefits. For many families, this increase will help, but it won't solve the underlying problem of benefits not keeping pace with actual living costs. A single mom receiving $1,200 in SSDI isn't suddenly comfortable because she's getting an extra $38 per month, though that $38 can still make a meaningful difference. I'm sharing this not to discourage anyone, but because I believe in being honest. This increase is good news and you should feel good about it. But if you're still struggling to make ends meet, that's not your fault. It's a systemic issue that affects millions of Americans. Let me give you some concrete steps you can take right now to make the most of this increase. First, check your benefit statement. Whether you get paper statements or access them online, make sure you understand your new payment amount. The SSA website has a portal where you can verify your information and payment history. Second, update your budget. I know budgeting isn't fun, but even an extra $25 or $58 per month can be allocated strategically. Maybe it goes toward building a small emergency fund, or maybe it helps you afford a prescription you've been rationing. Third, if you're not already signed up for automatic deposit, do it now. Paper checks can get lost or stolen, and direct deposit ensures you get your money on time, every time. Fourth, look into state and local programs that can stretch your benefits further. Many states offer additional assistance for utilities, food, or healthcare that can amplify the impact of your federal benefits. Let me share what we can expect going forward, because I know many of you are wondering if this trend will continue. COLA adjustments happen annually, typically announced in October for the following year. The amount varies based on inflation and economic conditions. Other years, it can be higher than this year's 3.2%. What I'm watching closely is healthcare costs, because Medicare premiums are often deducted directly from Social Security payments. Sometimes a COLA increase can be partially offset by higher Medicare costs. So it's important to understand your net increase, not just the gross COLA. I'm also keeping an eye on proposed legislation that could affect benefits. While I can't predict what will happen politically, I can promise to keep you informed about any changes that might affect your payments. Here's what I want you to remember. This increase represents something important beyond just the dollars and cents. It's recognition that people receiving benefits deserve to maintain their purchasing power as costs rise. For too long, we've seen benefits treated as charity rather than earned income. But for the vast majority of Social Security recipients, you paid into this system for decades. Veterans, you earned your benefits through service and sacrifice. These aren't handouts. They're promises that were made to you. This increase, while modest, is the system working as it's supposed to work. It's acknowledgement that your financial security matters, that your ability to afford basic necessities matters. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Financial security isn't just about having enough money. It's about having predictable income you can count on and knowing that income will maintain its value over time. This October increase is a step in the right direction. It won't solve every financial challenge, but it will help. And sometimes, especially when you're living on a fixed income, help is exactly what you need. If this video was helpful to you, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I post new content every week focused on benefits, assistance programs, and practical financial advice for people navigating these systems. Also, check out the videos I've linked in the description about maximizing your benefits and finding additional assistance programs. There are resources available that many people don't know about, and my goal is to make sure you have access to every program you're entitled to. Drop a comment below and let me know. Will this increase make a meaningful difference for your family? Even a small rise in monthly benefits can help some households manage essential expenses such as groceries, utility bills, or other everyday costs. Any additional support can provide a bit of relief and peace of mind, especially for those on fixed incomes trying to balance their budgets. It's important to stay informed about the benefits and programs you may be eligible for. Checking official sources regularly ensures you are aware of any changes, updates, or new opportunities that may affect your situation. Your feedback is valuable as it helps highlight the topics that matter most, so future updates and guidance can focus on the information people need. You are not alone in navigating these systems. Millions of Americans seek clarity on benefits, payment schedules, and eligibility rules. Staying connected to reliable information and official resources allows individuals to make informed decisions and plan ahead. Managing household finances is about maintaining stability and confidence in your budget. Whether you are a retiree, a person receiving benefits, or supporting an aging family member, understanding your options and keeping up to date with official guidance can help you plan effectively. Thank you for taking the time to watch and for engaging with this content. Sharing questions or experiences helps create a community focused on accurate information and support. Stay informed, look after yourself and your loved ones, and I'll provide further updates as new information becomes available.